Radio New Zealand. Was Aaron's at Radio New Zealand? Oh yeah, cool. That's so cool. I'm putting my money on you.
Yeah.
Manifest.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Cool. Okay. Hi everyone, welcome to Golden Glimmers. I'm so excited. This is my first time. I'm nervous, but I'm super excited because today I have along my friend Nat. Actually known Nat for a real long time, and I'm not sure when the first time it was that I met you, but I do remember very clearly. And sometimes people find this like cringe because I remember stuff that other people don't.
Oh, same.
But I really remember you from Morgan's 21st birthday. You had this like...
Is that in Nelson?
Yeah, in Wakefield. Beautiful long hair. You had on a red dress and you were like star of the party.
No, I was not. Sorry, that's not true.
It is true. It is true. And I just want to like touch on it.
Was it at her house?
Yeah.
Yes, I remember her house was beautiful.
And like back at high school, we definitely had a few like queen bee dynamics and that sort of thing. Nat rolls up and all of these boys that we've literally grown up with, jaws are dropping. And I just remember being like, wow, she's the whole full package.
No,
because like beautiful,
so
but you were so nice.
You're so sweet.
Like, and that's how I remember you. You know, like first impression, I was like, wow.
Well, I just remember you girls being so nice because I was always a little bit, because you know you all went to high school together and you were really close, really tight and such a cool group. And I was a little bit of the odd one out just because I hadn't gone to high school with you girls. But you were all so inviting and so nice. And I remember your house as well. Do you remember us being in your house? Yeah, I remember that vividly. And I can't remember what we were doing. I think we were like setting up something or maybe like doing something to do with a party or something. But I just remember you, that's when we met in Nelson.
Funny.
That is so long ago.
Yeah.
That's in our 20s when we were young.
Yeah. And it's funny because I definitely like seen you and all the girls' photos and everything like that. But it was this whole other thing meeting you in person. And then you guys lived in that house behind the mall as well.
In Christchurch? Yes. Yeah, so I flatted with Morgan and some of the boys, for I think maybe, was it 2 years? But just behind the mall, which was so handy because we used to walk to Pack and Save at the mall. And
then you were working at Les Mills, doing those classes.
Yeah, so I worked so I did project management full time. So that's why I moved to Christchurch because, rebuild and I was in construction. But I was teaching at Les Mills at the same time, so like before and after. Yeah.
I had never been to a class until Morgan's like, we need to go to Nat's class. Yeah, and then I loved it.
That's so cool. What was your first class?
Pump.
Yeah, cool. Wow, that's such a long time ago because I don't teach pump anymore.
I know.
I can't imagine doing pump. That would be sore.
Yeah, I remember it being like killer. Yeah. But I also loved it as well. And I do remember going to your grit classes as well.
See, grit I definitely... I'm taking a break at the moment, but grit I've taught since and still do, yeah.
Okay, I have kind of gone off track already.
No, I think that's good. I like off track.
Some real chat though, but a few warm-up questions.
Ooh, okay, cool.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee all the way.
What's your coffee order?
Long black, because I'm like, one of those people that's just really plain and boring. I think long black just because, no, actually I've got no explanation, but long black or coconut milk if I'm going to go for like a milky one.
Don't dabble in dairy.
No, I can't. You can't either, can you?
Nah, it's not great. Like sometimes I will just dabble and regret it
I
straight
know.
away.
So, do you know what? I had an ice cream in the weekend. I was like, screw it. Like, everybody was having like all of Essie's family and stuff, and then regrets.
Yeah.
It's just not comfortable at all. IBS,
Yeah, totally. It was like real difficult with food allergies, because when Maru and I first got together, like none of his family ever had food allergies, and so for quite a long time I tried to keep it like low key.
Oh,
and like
be difficult.
Yeah, because I felt like there was like this whole thing of like, you know, a bit of stigma around it and that sort of thing, and it just destroyed. Yeah, exactly.
Gluten-free, good mark, and it's like, actually, I am. Okay.
It really destroys my insides. But it's good now because I've got a brother-in-law that's like allergic to quite a few things, and so I'm like, yes, we can be in it together.
Yeah, on that level. That's so funny.
Favorite season?
Summer.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, which is so like basic again, but I just love the heat.
Yeah. Same. And I know the answer to this, but star sign.
Capricorn.
Yeah. We're twins.
Yes, we are. We've talked about this so many times. See, I was just thinking today on my way here, I was like, damn, you know, we've both been in Christchurch for ages and like messaging over Instagram and stuff, and we've been meaning to catch up and we just haven't. So this is like a blessing, you know, that we get to do this right now. This is us catching up.
I'm so glad you said that, because I was explaining to the lads at work that I had you on the show today, and I was like, she's one of those people that I've always known that I should make way more effort to be friends with, because I've always really liked you, always, and I've always been like, if I was like a little bit less socially awkward, that's who I would want to hang out with. And they were cracking up.
You know, I'm socially awkward too. You just kind of make do.
Totally.
I've been like soft launching my awkwardness at work for a while, and I think I did a full hard launch last Friday, and some of the guys were like, have you lost it? Like, because it's the end of the week, and I was like, do you know what, it's actually me 24/7, but I hold it back around you guys, but I'm not doing that anymore.
Totally. You're like, I'm just warming up to you guys. Now you can see who I really am. I'm not going to do small talk anymore. Oh man, it's the same with me. I think being in HR, I think you give so much of yourself to people, and I guess a lot of your responsibility is to kind of create a bit of a vibe, but that means that like, out of work, it's just don't really have that energy, like actually naturally an introvert, and so all of that is like taught, your people energy is just drained at work, so then outside of work, you don't really want to have to socialize. And you're like the same for me, like I've admired you over Instagram, and you know, we message all the time, so I admire everything that you do. So I was like, I'm so glad we get to do this, because you're like one of those people I really want to catch up with, but we just haven't made the time. And also because I think we're both introverted and busy, you know, like you're on the road a lot, and what is one thing that people may not know about you?
Do you know what? I always use the same thing, but I think people know this. You know when say you're doing a first aid course, and like, let's do an icebreaker, and like tell us something people don't know. I always say I'm actually French, and I was born there, but I don't know if really that's relevant with you, because you know this already.
No, it's the same. I say like, oh, you probably don't know this about me, but I grew up on a farm in the middle of nowhere. People are like this.
I'm like, I'm actually French. I was born there, and this is my second language, and then you know, it's that way. It's like my go-to. But in terms of something that you wouldn't know, I don't know. I feel like I'm not like I feel like what I give out on social media is kind of what you get, you know, like in normal life. So I don't tend to be, you know, different online and offline. But something that people might not know. Maybe, can I get back to you after? Or was that the last one?
No, that's okay. That's okay.
What do you know, Nico, about me that people don't know? You don't have to join in, sorry. I'm just pulling a producer in. Do you mind?
No!
Okay. I love when Nico comes on. Yeah. Actually, Nico, you do know, because you've listened to all of our episodes, and I feel like our dark secrets are on there.
He knows all of our trauma.
Like literally, because that's what we share on our podcast is our trauma. Yeah. So totally. What do we have in common, did you say? I guess bonjour.
Oh.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll get back to you soon. I don't know. Just kidding.
Oh, actually, that is one thing I would love to talk about, just because I want to acknowledge it. So when I first wanted to do a podcast, I don't talk to Muzz about it. I don't talk to anyone. You were the very first person that I talked to about it and kind of like launched the thing with. And I just want to say thank you, because I don't want to like this to go the wrong way, because I'm not trying to bash anyone, but when you put forward ideas, people aren't always like that supportive about it.
Yeah.
And especially if it's something that they may have done in the past. Like sometimes it can be like, they can kind of talk you out of it a little bit, especially if they're more experienced and stuff. And I really just want to acknowledge and say thank you, because you were such a safe space and you were so supportive about it. And it just meant a lot. Like once I actually got in touch with Plains FM and kind of made some moves, again, like you're the first one where I was like, I did it! I'm scared.
I'm honoured, honestly, that I'm the first person that you spoke to. Yeah. And of course I'm gonna be supportive. And I know what you mean when people aren't. And typically it's because maybe there's like a bit of like a threatened factor. Yeah. But I truly believe there's enough for everybody to succeed in this world, in everything, like just in general. Doesn't matter if we're both in the same, or even when I was personal training and, that's kind of like you're out for yourself. Even then I always thought, like there's enough people in this world that need a personal trainer. Yeah.
Oh,
but I'm honoured. Thank you.
So Nat, I want to talk about your journey.
Yeah.
So tell me about your early years. Obviously, you were born in France.
Yes, my early years. So I was born in France, moved when I was 13 years old with my mum and my brother to Gisborne. Yeah, so a little bit of a culture shock, but love Gisborne. Like it's just culture shock in terms of like I went from like in France I was like in a massive city, Marseille, and then we moved to a tiny little village that had like 500 people, and then I moved to Gisborne and new language, and all of a sudden I had all of these family members that I had like technically never met, because when I met them I was 4, so I didn't remember. So I was like, whoa, I've just gained this whole family and I can't even speak to them because I couldn't speak the language. So that was interesting, but like love Gisborne and love my family in Gisborne. And then so that's my early years. Is that what you mean by early years?
Tell me about like some stuff. When you think about your childhood, is there like a key friend, a key animal, a key like hobby? And
yeah, for sure. Definitely a key friend. I have a best friend that we kind of say we're sisters, from another mother.
Sister from another person.
We've been best friends since we were, we say babies, because our mums knew each other when we were babies, and also we're born 2 days apart. So we don't actually keep in touch very much over when I moved, just because it's hard to keep up with people and just message them when you're not seeing them all the time. But I've been back to France a few times, and it's just like old times.
You can pick up where you left off.
Yeah, even if I haven't seen her for 7 years, it's still that same kind of vibe. So definitely have a key friend. In terms of key, did you say hobby?
Yeah.
I always wanted to be an architect, so I used to practice drawing floor plans. So that was a hobby when I was younger, which sounds so geeky.
It's
especially
not
because I'm not even an architect now. Tried it, didn't like it.
Yeah. Wow, I definitely had some weirder hobbies than
that. Can you share one if you're better?
Well, firstly, I was definitely a big Barbie girl, but because I lived on a farm, and my upbringing was a little bit old school in terms of school holidays. It's hot outside. Mum's like, eat your breakfast, pack some lunch, and you guys going for a little mission. And we'd cool. Take our Barbies and get them sinking sand, and take them down to the river, cool. Put them on hay bales and attach them to
boats.
Sheep and all those sorts of things. Exactly.
So cool.
One of the lads at work today, he pretended to put a cicada on my shoulder. And one of the other guys was like, oh my god, my wife like wouldn't talk to me if I did that to her. And I was like, okay, I've got a weird story, but I'm not afraid of cicadas, because when I was younger I used to like take a jar out to the farm and like go around the different trees and pick the cicada shells off. I thought it was really fascinating.
So like you just take the shells?
Yeah.
I'm not in a jar.
I'm not like a psychopath. I'm not.
I wasn't going down that part, but I was thinking maybe you took like cicadas and just like alive and put them all in a, because you know when you're a kid you don't realize that you do like stuff. It's like mean.
I did do that with caterpillars, so I do know exactly what you were talking about. But I used to think it was so fascinating how cicadas like broke out of their shell and stuff. But I did take them to school, and no one else really thought it was cool. And then my older sisters were like, "No, don't do it again."
You're like, hey guys, do you think this is cool? And no one kind of gives you, when no one gives you the reaction that you were hoping for. And it's like, especially when you're a kid, it's like.
Life is over.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Do you not think this is so interesting?
Meet me on my level, please.
Why? So you actually said this. I was going to say, what did you want to be when you're 5 years old? But you wanted to be an architect.
Yeah, like I just remember loving drawing, and just remember talking to my mum and my brother and being like, what can I do? Like, what can be a job that I could do that involves drawing? And they were like, oh, you could be like I was like, can I be a professional drawer? And they were like, oh, I don't know if there's like many jobs out there, but like there are architects, and you seem to like, like houses and stuff. And I was like, sweet, I'll settle on architect. And then I just ran with that. To the point where I went to uni and did architecture.
That is strong Capricorn energy from 5 years old.
I just remember being so focused, like I need to have a vision in my life, and I'm going to go for it. And then I tried it, didn't like it.
But you're still in there, and well,
kind of. Yeah. So
how did you go from that to where you are now
in terms of profession? Okay, so like I said, I did first year architecture in Wellington and didn't enjoy it, but to do project management and building science, you have to do first year architecture. So I was lucky in the sense that I didn't feel like I'd wasted a year. And then I went on and did building science and majored in project management and environmental studies, and I just loved my degree. Like you know how some people, like I just remember being like, do you guys not love this? Like I just feel like I'm in the right place. Not every lecture, but most lectures, and we're learning about just project managing and even structures and structural engineering and things. I just remember thinking, this is exactly where I want to be. So then from there I became a project manager in construction and moved to Christchurch after, like I said before the podcast, after the earthquakes, and just wanted to be a part of the rebuild pretty much. And also most jobs were down there, to be honest.
Totally.
There was nothing really in Wellington. I do remember wanting to stay in Wellington, but then I remember thinking, actually, why don't I just contribute to this? And then did that for about 5 or 6 years, but on the side taught classes, as you know, at Les Mills, and then kind of did a transition where I decided to go full-time fitness. Oh, John, I just had like a hiccup. Did you hear that?
I saw it.
So sorry. Did
I could see it like
Jesus, that was like a bad reaction. You can leave it in. I don't mind. I mean, so we can choose. So I did a transition, went full-time fitness, and so kept teaching classes, because you can't really do that full-time, because that would ruin your body. But I did personal training and kind of ran like a boot camp with my now husband. Did that for 3 full years, I think, and then decided to go back to project management, but now in IT. So completely different. So I'm 6 months in and still learning a lot.
And tell me, like, how did that happen in terms of that transition from construction to IT? Tell me how that happened.
Like completely random.
Did someone approach you? Or did you see a job? Or?
No, like I wasn't even looking. Like, to be honest, I was really happy with what I was doing. You know, like I've always loved personal training in, you know, and just the fitness industry, like it's such a cool industry to be in terms of like it's a happy place, you know, like I just remember when I transitioned from construction to fitness, still love construction, but I just remember thinking this is such a happy place, like people go here and there's such good energy, and it does drain you big time. Like I think that's the most people drained I've ever been. Like I used to have hiding spots in the gym because you can't really get away from people. Even in the staff room there's like you know, dozens of people that go in and out all the time. So I used to hide in a cupboard, which is kind of weird.
I can relate to this so much, because you kind of got to be on, and you want to be on, and you want to give everyone everything that you can, but like if you
have to be on to everybody,
and if your natural recharge is actually not by other people, so you know how to do it, you know how to turn it on and that sort of thing, but if your natural recharge, which I think is the same for you and I, is like at home in comfy clothes with Essie, eating some yum food,
right
and
comfy clothes,
I totally understand that, and I also understand the hiding part as well. And to be honest, like even with the kids sometimes I don't have a walk-in wardrobe, I have like a normal wardrobe, but I was still like hide in there a little bit.
There's no light,
because I'm like, and it's not because it's not a them thing, it's like I want to give you the best version of me, but that's not sustainable 24/7, you know. So I totally get it.
Like I would just even just a few minutes go in there and sit in the dark, and it's so funny when people open the door and they're like, whoa, what are you doing? I'm like, hey, just nothing weird happening here. I'm just chilling out. And sometimes I'd even be lying down because it's quite large. Like it's like a storage room. Yeah, so it's quite a big room, and I would just be lying down just on my phone or just doing nothing. And it's quite funny when people walk in. Not many, but generally staff. And they're like, oh, there's Nat again.
I was about to say, people will be like, open the doors looking for Essie, thinking something steamy's going on, and you're
and you're like, why are you just sitting there in the dark? And I'm like, for people like you, leave me alone for 5 seconds, please. I'd always be like, do you need the space? I was always a bit awkward about it. Like I'd be like, I can leave. They're like, no, I'll just grab this and go, you weirdo.
I'm just getting something at the storage.
Like that's what it's for, not to just sit in. That's how I went into IT. No, that was so random. Essie had a client who he's had for a long time, and I've known him and his wife for a long time as well, who is in IT, and one day randomly said, how would you feel about doing project management work for IT, and just like herding cats pretty much, because like project management is a bit like that. And I remember thinking, like that would be interesting. I just have to make sure that I can work it in with my PT hours, so I was kind of like, I could do maybe like some afternoons and stuff. And he's like, okay, cool, that would work. I think we've got, I think we can make that work. And this particular company is quite young. It's not a startup anymore, but it was a startup not that long ago. And they didn't have any project managers in the South Island, and they'd just opened the South Island branch. So sure, whatever, in the mindset that I'd do it like maybe 10 to 20 hours a week. And then I remember thinking, that could be like, I don't really know what I was thinking. I think maybe he just sold it to me. Like he was like, the team's really cool, like the manager's awesome. And then I met the manager and clicked instantly. Like, one of those people that you just feel like you've known for such a long time, and he was just incredible. Like I remember thinking, man, I do want to work for you. Like you just seem like such a great guy. You've got amazing ideas, and you're just like, I could see that he'd created a really good culture. And I think he had maybe like 10 people in the South Island at that point. So and then it kind of happened like that. So then when we started talking, I was like, do you know what, I want to give this a really good go and do it full time, I think. So then did that, and honestly, from when I got offered a role to starting it was 1 week. So I had 1 week to tell my clients that I was leaving. So there was no, or maybe it was 2 weeks, because I ended up, because I was getting this offer coming through, I was like, I'm going to see, since I'm like, my heart is, and I'm going to see what else is out there in terms of project management. So then I started doing interviews in project management, but all construction. So I I interviewed for 5 other companies that were construction, and then the 6th one was IT, and all went well. And so that was I ended up doing 14 interviews.
Yeah, right.
Because you do like the second one, you do the culture one and then the technical one, and so I did 14 interviews, got a position at the time with every single one of them. Ended up going with the IT one.
Isn't that funny? And it really does come down to those relationships. And when I think that earlier on in our careers, we're thinking a lot more about advancement and pathways and maybe like what businesses are more reputable in the market and that sort of thing. And then I think we get to a point where we've been in the work environment for a few years and kind of understand, and we have a few managers that come and go, so we know what good and bad leadership and stuff looks like as well.
You would know all about that, I bet.
Yeah, but it really comes down to that personal connection. I know that for me, a couple of years ago, I got approached to actually work for an exclusive Brethren company.
Wow.
And it was, the business sold pretty much like diggers, dump trucks, that sort of thing. And lots of people were like to me, what are you up to? Like, you've had a really interesting career and stuff. Why are you making that move? And I was like, I just really clicked with them. Like I was like, I think that they're really decent people. I think that they're going to like kind of care about me. And like, I think it's really genuine. I believe in the mission and that sort of thing.
Did you take the job?
I took the job. Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. Like, it definitely had its challenges, but
you would have learned so much though, even just about that community.
Totally.
And when things just kind of like click, in terms of like, it just kind of feels right. Like, for example, for this role, it was really flexible in terms of like working from home or in the office, and they didn't care that I was teaching classes during the day. Like, they were so flexible, and the whole like everything just kind of felt right. The office is really close to the gym, so I can just walk in and out. So like things just kind of like, I was like, it just kind of feels right to do this. And I know it doesn't, like, from the outside, people were the same. They were kind of like, you've never worked in IT though, let alone cybersecurity. Like, do you even know anything about it? And I remember my first interview with the manager being like, so all I know about IT is that it's in the clouds.
The cloud?
The cloud. There's just, and I remember him being like, oh boy, we've got a long way to go.
When they use
but I want to hire you.
all the abbreviations and like jargon that goes with the industry.
Do you know what? I've noticed how lazy they are, lazy but smart, and how much jargon there is in terms of like, they just shorten everything. Like, I'm like, are you millennials? All of you, like, just BRB. Not that they say BRB, be right back, but everything is shortened. It's an acronym for anything.
I sadly know way too many abbreviations for like this construction sector and machinery. And I'm like, these are two things that little Zoe, who just loved her like pink princess dress, would have never guessed that should be amongst, I totally get that.
How cool though, like, anyway, we've connected on the construction world.
So this is a funny one, but were there any kind of golden moments or golden glimmers within your career? This doesn't necessarily have to be in your new role, but maybe it is. But that kind of changed it, like a defining point where it may have been something happened that gave you this boost of confidence that you're at the right place at the right time, or feedback, opportunities.
I feel like I've maybe had a few of those in terms of, I feel like I can think of a lot of positives, in things that I've done. Like in fitness, there were a lot of positives in terms of like, when Essie and I were working on our business side of things, like the ebooks and even just the boot camp in itself. Like, I do remember thinking, this is so what I want to be doing. Oh, High Monday is a big one. That was actually
that was supposed to be part of my intro. I had this incredible intro which was like, Nat, she's like a personal trainer, group fitness, construction project manager, IT project manager, booty bands, High Monday. Exactly. I am so sorry.
Don't be.
Let's
oh my
put
god,
that
no, don't be. No, so actually High Monday was a huge one for me, where I was like this is exactly what I want to be doing. And I know you feel the same in terms of your business as well, where you're kind of like, I've created this from like inception, and it's just your baby, and it just feels so like, it just feels so good to see people, like even seeing you today with the bottle, just like I you know, and you know this from people wearing your clothes, it just gives you like butterflies. It does give me a little bit of hurt because I'm not doing it at the moment, because it wasn't feasible for shipping fees and stuff. I haven't even done any kind of announcement because I just wanted to like leave really quietly because I didn't want to talk about it with anybody, because it hurts.
It's painful way. Let's talk about High Monday, because these drink bottles are great. So I have one, Muzz has one.
You're so supportive.
and I love them, but like that's a journey, like, because that's a whole other skill set, learning Shopify and packing your orders, dealing with suppliers and that sort of thing. Like what really inspired you to take that plunge?
What inspired me was the need for it, because that's how it came about, really, was just the fact that not just me, but other PTs and stuff, and even myself, we were like people just don't drink enough water, you know, and it's such a simple thing. And I remember trialing different things with my clients, where there's like apps you can download that gives you reminders, but then you get like notification fatigue, where you constantly get notified, like have a sip of water now, or have a glass of water, so you just kind of end up turning them off. I do anyway. So I remember that didn't work, and then I remember just asking, because this is not a new concept that I've come up with. Like, I've seen this, I think Kylie Jenner had a massive one, like a really, really big plastic one, and it had time markers. So I remember, like, when my clients had, like, say your pump bottle, or those big plastic bottles, I would just get them to put their own time markers and be like, okay, so just make sure that by midday you've drunk this amount of water, and then you just refill it then. So they kind of did that concept, and that worked. And it was the only thing that worked. And then, not the only thing, but I just felt like it was like way more, because you find that it helps to drink more water in terms of having the times.
For sure.
Same.
And it's cute as well.
Exactly. It's cute.
Like, it's not an eyesore. Like, I think that some of those drink bottles are really obnoxious. Just gonna
those massive ones with the handles.
And it just, like, I think it's obviously like a bit of a buzz at the moment, but I feel like a lot of the ones on the market, I'm not sure if we're allowed to talk about the one in particular that's like gone crazy, but it feels like you were a little bit ahead of the curve with that as well. Like, it felt like you did it, but you did it with a bit of style and stuff as well. Like, it's
I've seen many. I've seen so many. I see them even at my work, and I'm like, oh, what brand is that? It's plastic. I think we were, I want to say we were one of, if not the first in New Zealand to have glass time marker ones. The only tricky thing was, me being in the fitness industry, people would bring it to the gym, which is great, but that wasn't really the intention behind it. Like, I remember thinking, this is the drink bottle that you have, because I have a lot of like corporate people that were my clients, that you keep at your desk at work until you, like, maybe the weekend you wash it, but you keep it at your desk, and then it just lives at work, and then at work you just have your 2 liters. And when you get home, you might have a glass of water or like a cup of tea, whatever, and then that kind of like wraps up your 3 liters that you're meant to have around about. But then people will bring it to the gym, which is great, but so many got broken. Many got broken. And I know actually, like, it was always a joke, like, oh, another one of Nat's bottles I have to clean up, and I try and help clean them up, and I'm so sorry about these
like, it's your responsibility that they dropped it.
It's not, but I even tried to look for like rubber things. Like, I've got a rubber band around mine, and it seems to work. I haven't dropped it at all. But even like things at the bottom, so that when you put it down hard on concrete, it doesn't shatter. Because that's the reality. Like, glass breaks. There's nothing you can do about it. Like, I can't remember the specifications, but it was the best glass we could get in terms of how it breaks. It shouldn't be like in a million pieces, and you know what I mean.
So it'll be a clean break.
It should be. Like, I've had people like put it down, and then it's just literally like a line around the bottom, and it's just 2 pieces.
Amazing.
Isn't that crazy? I'm like, well, at least that's easy, and I'm sorry about all the water in your bag or over your body.
With your career, did you ever have any naysayers? did you ever have anyone that made little comments around you that made you maybe second guess what you were up to and the pathway that you were following?
Yeah, definitely, especially in the the business kind of space, because people don't expect you to do, like in terms of society, I feel like you're expected to follow the normal path.
Yeah.
So you go to uni, you get a job, and then you die.
Yeah.
So it feels like because I remember the naysayers came in when I left corporate and went to PT and full-time fitness. Like so many, even my mum, she was one of them. Like bless her, she only wants the best for me, and she was still a naysayer for a long time until I was like, Mum, like I earn more than I did when I was a project manager, like can't you just realize that this is what I want to do? And then she accepted it, and it's sad that it's like when it's like a money factor, because that's, you don't want it to be like that, but I understand her point of view. She just wants the best for me.
Totally. Yeah, no, I understand that. And all your mum wants for you is to be like safe and financially independent and have a good career and have job stability and all those things. And so I think that she probably felt like, she got you through school, you went to university, you graduated, you got a job, and so she kind of would have been able to be like, finally, like, deep breath.
I've invested.
And so that would be really like confronting for her if you decided to go down a different path. And they always mean well, but I also think that those words, they always get to us the most.
Especially when it's someone you care so much about. My best friends and my friends were so supportive. They were like, I can see why you want to start this, and quite self-motivated in that. And when it's someone that you care so much about, and you just, and like for ages she didn't really understand what I did. Like she just thought that I worked out all day long. And I remember saying to her mum, like, it's not what I don't actually work out all day long. That's why it's sustainable. Like I remember her being like, you're gonna be tired one day of this, and I'm like, no, I won't. Let me show you. And I'm not tired. I wasn't tired of it. That's not why I left. And I'm still doing the boot camp and group classes as well. But I just remember being like, can't you just come with me one day? And she lives in Gisborne, so it's not that easy. But I remember just wanting her to come with me to work so she can actually see what my day is like, and it's actually sustainable. Like it's fine. Yeah,
bless her soul. I think I don't think my mum really, she never worked with any HR or anything like that, so I don't think she has a clue what I do either. But I do remember also not just my mum, when I decided that I wanted to start a clothing brand, everyone my whole life has known that I love clothing and that sort of thing. So I don't think it was ever a real surprise to them. Yeah. But when I left the comfort of a career where I had worked my ass off to get into those SLT groups and that sort of thing, got into management roles and national roles and that sort of thing, when I kind of pivoted and when I really want to make some more sustainable clothing and that sort of thing. Risky, pandemic, you don't have this 8 to 5, you don't have a guaranteed salary and that sort of thing. I really feel like it's only, so we launched in 2020 and it took 2 years of designing clothes and figuring out who suppliers were and sampling and stuff before that. But I only feel it's probably been in the last 12 months of people seeing me doing the fashion shows and that sort of thing, where I think people
they
are
see the consistency and okay, so she's sticking at it. Maybe
I
will support her. And it's where were you at the beginning?
And it's real funny now because I feel almost a little bit, I feel the resentment in my body where people have all of a sudden started supporting and stuff, and I'm very grateful that they are. But there's this little part of my heart that obviously got a little bit hurt in that they didn't necessarily believe in the first place, and I'm everyone's on the bandwagon now. But I'm also I think that for every birthday and Christmas and stuff, I would give my family and my friends clothing as well so they could kind of try it.
You're gonna wear it now.
My mum has the leggings and she pretty much has worn them every day for forever, and they're falling apart, so you need to give her another pair.
So you're you need another pair, Mum.
And then my dad,
they're such good quality as well.
Do you have the leggings? Do you have the shorts as well?
No, I've got the leggings and I love them.
Yeah.
They're such good quality. Like I don't know how you did that, but they are incredible.
Yeah, they're cool. Like what I really love about the leggings is just how versatile they are. Like I love that they don't have a big tick or, you know, the 3 stripes on them or whatever, because I do think that you can like put on a nice like oversized white shirt and some boots or whatever and rock them to work and
and you can even and likewise you can do it and just go for a walk and wear activewear with it. It's so good and they're so comfortable. You try them.
My dad he works in a prison. He's a farmer, but every day he like comes home from work, he'll have a shower and he gets into his shorts, and I love that. Like it just cool. It means a lot, and I know exactly what you mean around seeing your drink bottles around, because that was a thing for me, was like, I'll know that there's something in it when I actually unintentionally bump into people that are wearing or using it. Yeah,
that's a whole other feeling. Like that, it's unexplainable. But I know what you mean with people that aren't supportive at the beginning, and it does have, even in terms of like the whole like, oh, but you're not using your degree. You know,
totally.
What a waste.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? Like I learned a lot in that degree, and I feel like I still get that a lot, because but didn't you study construction? And I'm like, in buildings? Like, aren't you a building scientist? Like I officially am a building scientist, and I'm like, and I'm with cybersecurity now.
But it's that fundamentals of project management, which applies to all industries, right?
Like everything that I did in construction project management is very similar to IT, except that IT is a much, much, much faster paced world. So fast. It hit me hard.
It's not a 5-year project. Exactly.
Yeah, like if you don't reply within an hour, it's considered slow.
Right.
Isn't that crazy? That's the feeling that I get.
That would not work for me.
It's just like it's like a mind switch. It's alright because I feel like I'm in it now, like I'm in the groove. At the beginning it was hard, but I do remember being like, but like I remember saying to some people, like my managers and stuff, like, you know, like I'm used to like at least 6 months. Like you can't build anything for 6 months.
No.
But like there it's like, it'll be like a 2-week project or be unknown. Like a lot of the IT projects are very unknown, so you'll be given like a bucket of hours and you just have to go in and figure it out. And then it kind of like rolls out what needs to be done, and they call that like agile project management.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, rather than waterfall, where you kind of like, waterfall is like construction where you plan everything at the start and then you go and deliver it, and there's going to be changes, but there's not going to be like a whole new building or whatever, you know what I mean? Whereas for IT, you plan as you go and you deliver as you go.
Do you think that there is maybe like a higher level of satisfaction in doing IT project management because you can see more of like tangible results like more often? You know, you can close it out.
It's interesting to say. It's definitely a lot more closing and opening and, you know, a lot of that. I haven't thought about it lately, but I did at the beginning think for a while I'm struggling with not seeing the final product.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like there's no better feeling than when you go on a construction site and it's like, it's done and you know everything about that building and you've all worked together for like 2 years on this and by the end you might hate each other. No, you wouldn't, but you know, like there's been a lot of tension because it never goes smoothly and everything goes over budget typically. So like seeing the final product, I think I've missed that. But I get what you mean, that it's nice to like close and constantly and open and lots of
because things can drag out for a long time. And I know that finished product feeling, because for me, like I can literally be working on a piece of clothing for like 2 years. The Chloe layer, it was like 4 years. And there's nothing else. And like when you actually have the product arrive and you're like, oh my god, like it's
insane.
real.
And you just want to look at it all and make sure it's perfect.
Totally. That's a satisfying feeling. What advice would you give the younger Nat?
Oh, that's sweet. So much. Don't feel like you have to have your whole life planned, because I'm in Capricorn, you know, like I feel, you know, I told you from when I was 5, I was, I'm going to be an architect and that's the rest of my life and I'm sticking to that. Don't feel like you have to have your whole life planned. because things kind of just happen for a reason. And you don't know what that's going to be. And that would have given me anxiety at 5 years old, probably, if I told little Nat that, like, totally. You're not going to know what's going to hit you.
That's real way. Like, I don't... It's so funny talking to you about this stuff, because I feel like there's not heaps of people that I feel on the same page with about that, but that's actually the same advice I would have given myself. Like, I literally had a life plan. And
we're the same person.
Do you know, it's real cringe, but I moved houses like maybe 5 years ago, and I found this life plan from, it must have been like 19 years old. Like, must thought it was hilarious.
So you were 19 years old at the time?
Yeah. And that's cool. But I was always so serious. Like, I know exactly what you're talking about. And it's like every part of my life, I'm like, oh, I wish I just, like, would be like, settle down, Zoe. And, like, enjoy your life. And
have fun.
Have fun.
You're only young once. Why do you feel like you need to make money at 14 years old?
Why are you on the hustle? Yeah, I know. And I totally relate to that. Like, I always just, like, had this vision and, like, always going for more and that sort of thing. But it wasn't necessarily about, like, success and people's perception or anything like that. I think I think I had this feeling that I was cut out to do a little bit more, and I didn't really know, but it was like I always kind of felt like there was something inside me where I could dig a little deeper. Do you know? Even
I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. Because it's hard, because when you're doing your own business kind of stuff, and I feel like, I know I'm back in, you know, employment world, but I still have, like, you know, when I spoke to my manager about, you know, he's like, you're going straight into IT, and you, like, what, he was obviously very keen to hire me, but he was asking, like, why, and I remember saying, I just feel like I have so much to give. And this just feels so right, and I have so much more to give, and I feel like I don't know what it is yet, and you don't know, nobody knows, but it's gonna hit.
It's gonna come. It's just about trusting the process, but I pretty much have no trust in the process. Like, I just want to control and plan it all, because what happens when it goes sideways, I don't know what to do.
I know what you mean, but I know what you mean when you say, like, when you think of, like, your younger self, and you're like, loosen up, sis. Like, just stop being so serious. Because I found diaries from when I was younger, and I would have been like, actually I know how old because it says it, but it was like maybe from like 7 years old onwards, and the writing does get better as I get older, but it's so structured. It's like, this is my mum's timetable today, because she did shift work.
I heard this on your podcast. I have listened to your podcast, like, fully, by the way. But, I hear you.
Yeah, what a freak, eh? And, like, it's just so structured, and every single day, like, even if the day is the same as the day before, I'll still write it out and write out what's happened.
Do you think you had a little bit of sad girl vibes in your diary?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, I'm glad you said
my god, yeah, like, reading it, honestly, like, I cry every single time, like, especially when I leave France. It's like heartbreaking. I'm like, oh my god, poor little Nat. It makes me want to cry just thinking about it.
I hear you on that one, because when I listened to your podcast and you talked about your diary entries, I was like, she is so brave. Like, I don't know if I could ever share my diary entries. And
I didn't bring it in.
Oh yeah, no, but like,
I do remember Jess saying, bring it in. I was like, it's in French, you won't understand.
No one is ever reading this ever. Like, I had visions of literally burning my diary, like, never ever. No, like, I just would want to. I have no idea it is. I also had scrapbooks when I was younger, and I have a feeling that they're, like, in my mum and dad's roof or something, and I am terrified that someone's going to find me one day. Like, please, never ever.
On the news?
Not like, even
Golden Glimmers,
even
diary.
Even my mum and dad, like, reading their stuff, I think I would be horrified, you know?
No, same. I have, like, read a few things to my mum and be like, oh, look, this is cute, but it's okay.
Don't look, mum. And I love you, mum.
But you ain't reading this. And I had, like, a little key and stuff, but I had to break the lock because I couldn't find the key.
Same. I definitely had diaries. That's actually what happened, though, which I think created trust issues when I was real young. I did have a diary when I was 6 years old, and I know exactly who I was talking about, but it was like one of my first crushes. But I had a dream about him, And so I had put that in my diary. I had a dream about Brody last night, and we were at the park, and he kissed me, and my sister read it. And I died, and I'm pretty sure I didn't admit that I had feelings for a boy, until I was maybe 14 years old after
Did she make fun of you for it?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, see, I don't think anyone's ever read my diary, and I think, I know exactly, sorry, mid noise, I know exactly what, that would ruin me.
Yeah,
because I used to always talk about the boys that I had a crush on, and if I'd held someone's hand or something
Totally.
Detailed.
It's funny, I did have this Winnie the Pooh diary, and I thought it was so cool because it was double layered, so you opened it, and the top layer, it just had a kind of address book, and it would have your friends' contact details.
I like that.
But there was a sneaky little part that you could lift up, and there was your real diary.
That's cool.
And honestly, I saw it in one of those scholastic catalogs, that you get at school, and it has the things, and I saved up for months for it because I was no one's ever reading my diary again.
I can't believe your sister read your diary. That's a violation.
Yeah, but I'm one of 3 girls, grew up in a kind of foster home environment of a gazillion kids. I also just think that was so normal. And to be fair, I think that anything I learned about puberty and all those sorts of things was going through my sister's magazines and that sort of thing as well. Reading those those sealed sections. Yes. So I'd always want to read it, but then I'd be have to wait until she had got in there, and then I'd be
crazy that people don't read magazines anymore. Really,
I love magazines. I think
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I think it's real sad, but I understand why. But I'm still I think that's kind of what I wanted to do when I was younger as well. I remember making a few magazines and that sort of thing.
Cool. You're so creative.
Yeah, I just would get all these pictures of fashion stuff, and then I'd write my own little poems, and then I would interview one of my friends about her pony. It's so funny. It's so funny when you look back at your past and all of the things that you did doing, and how they transfer into your real life as adults. Yeah. And I remember in my early days of trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, people being remember what you used to do when you were young? Do that. And I was what? Yeah. Well, I don't know what I used to doing. Hanging out with my friends.
Yeah.
But then, when you actually peel back to when you were super young, all of those things are the same, eh?
Well, I guess because you don't have as much influence when you're younger. You kind of just do it what your heart feels like doing.
Yeah, totally.
And you say whatever the hell you want to say, and it's appropriate.
Totally. Yeah. And I also think that, as a 5-year-old, definitely wanted to be in fashion, but I think by 10 years old, I didn't think there was many jobs available within fashion, and, that wasn't a real career and that sort of thing. 5 years old, I had no idea what an HR person was either. Whereas now, I'm oh, okay, I am really sensitive, and I like talking to people, and I like understanding what their dreams and their vision and all those things are. So it all makes sense,
it makes so much sense. Yeah.
Hey, what would you say if someone wanted to make a change within their career, but is scared or doesn't know where to start?
So they want to make a change. Yeah, I would say go for it. Definitely have a plan in terms of when I say I've changed industries twice now, construction to fitness to IT, but I've always, apart from the fitness to IT, I've always had a plan. When I did construction to fitness, I reduced my construction hours and upped my PT hours and kind of did a transition because I was so methodical about it. I made sure I had a waiting list of clients before I jumped into it because I couldn't fathom. I've got a real fear of being poor. Same. Yes, we are the same person.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, I'm terrified. Yeah. I think that's why I've worked so hard my whole life, is because I'm
That's why you were on the hustle from 14.
Totally. Yeah. No, I hear you. Did I cut you off though?
No. No, I would just say go for it. Have a plan, but go for it. Because you won't regret it. When you're really truly doing what your passion is, that's when I feel you feel most at ease.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And you kind of know when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing as well.
Follow your heart. Like, I know that sounds cliche, but follow your heart. Like, I've only really done things when they've really just felt right. If something doesn't feel right, it probably because it isn't.
Yeah, and then also just knowing it takes a long time, eh?
Yes.
Takes a real long time. Like,
that's what I mean with planning. And like what you said with, like, you know, when you've designed your clothing and you started in 2020 and look at us, you know, look at you now. Like, it takes a lot. Don't expect night and day, like overnight you're going to be a success. Like, it takes time. It's
brutal.
Yeah.
Well, we have to wrap up.
I know, that went so fast.
It went so fast, and I missed questions as well. But hey, I just want to say thank you so much. I'm so pumped you did this with me, and it couldn't have been a better person. I did say to Nat, just for listeners, that if I mess up, then she's going to take the lead. But I think we did good.
You did so good. High five. You did so good. No, thank you so much. I did on the way here think this is going to be a massive podcast one day, and I can say I was the first. I was the first to come on with Zoe, and I'll be like, I know her. Thank you. Do you know I was the first one on that podcast?
Thank you. I feel emotional.
Me too. Thank you.
Do we stop? I have a little present for you.
No. Oh. Did we go a little bit over? Huh. Yeah, you can just say thank you so much. Episode 1. Yeah, good point. Nice.
Well, yeah. Okay.
It's just kind of like close. It's like, thank you so much for listening.
Calm. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Okay. Okay. So, listeners, thank you so much for tuning in today, and thank you, Nat, for joining me on my very first ever podcast. It means the world. Our episodes will be streamed on Apple, Spotify, and some content will be on Instagram and TikTok also.
Nice.
So like and subscribe.
Yes, and follow.
And follow. Thank you. Sorry, my mind went blank.
No, that was good. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you mean the name of the show?
Golden Glimmers.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Oh, thank God. Okay.
They're really good at doing transitions.
Okay.
I mean, they know the name, don't they? Or do you mean for the radio purposes? They know the name if they're listening. Oh, okay. Yeah. I think.
Okay. Thank God.
Woohoo!
Amazing. Thank you so much. It's hot in here, right?
It does get hot.
I'm
they can make it less
just
hot.
grab a picture of you two, please.
Oh, hello.
Sure.
I didn't know
you were
manager
here.
Well, you know what?
for Golden Glimmers.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Have you two met? You
No,
have,
we
haven't
haven't,
you?
but I feel
sure.
like I do feel like I just know you from Instagram
Oh, from
and
the
watching.
Insta.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you were here.
I've
Did
been
you know
here,
I could
but-
see his shadow?
I just wasn't expecting
You were
it at all.
focused.
I know.
Yeah. Did you want these on, or did you?
There's client management in it. Lower expectations, over deliver.
Yeah, I'm like sweaty and smell, but I want to give you a hug.
Oh, of course. I can move my my chair a little bit.
Take 20.
Ready. I'm also recording.
Oh,
Okay, got it.
you're so onto it.
Here's a little present now.
Oh, you didn't have to give me a present at all. Oh, this has been an emotional episode. I just feel like we've come such a long way. Thank you so much.
Hey Nico, this is my husband Maru.
We've
sorry,
been having a
yeah.
for the
Oh,
last hour.
thank you so much. Wow, that smells good. What did you spray on there?
So I put incense in our boxes of clothes just to keep them like smelling really nice.
Wow, you're amazing.
It's just a little
I didn't
something
realize you did
something.
that. Thank you so much.
It needs a steam
Oh.
or an iron.
I think it's perfect as it is.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, of
Honestly, it's my pleasure. Like I say, I truly believe you're gonna go big on this,
Oh,
and one day I'll be like, I actually know this
Oh,
girl.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Thank you.
And
thank
I
you,
was the
Nico.
first.
Oh, I'm really happy I got to record this first episode.
Yeah. Thank you.
First of many.
Yes, first of many. So, just wanted to let you know it was all good. It's really good to see that you're doing an hour show and you didn't really stop at
Yeah.
all, and you didn't.
Oh yeah,
need
your
to.
pace was good.
Yeah.
Did you do that on purpose?
No, that's
Yeah,
just
so-
standard-
I
that's just
didn't even
standard
know.
pace.
Yeah.
Because a lot of when you get people that you interview, you'll find you might notice this that they tend to be, because just in general in real life normally you the conversations are a bit slower and like you think about it, but your pace was good because you when you've got people you're interviewing, I always feel like I'm trying to bring the pace up because otherwise you can hear it on the podcast where it's a little bit slow.
Yeah,
Mm.
right.
Like when you go
The
like
sound gets
1.5 speed, you don't really want them to have to do that. So yeah, your pace is awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And just want to let you know, because it's your first episode and you might listen to it, because you're always gonna hate your first episode.
Yeah, I hate my voice. I literally hate it.
You'll
So,
get used to it. It's a
You'll
nice
get used
voice.
to it, and when you look back into your first episode, say 4 months from now, you'll realize how much you've come. You've improved. But it was really good. I recorded a lot of first
So
episodes, and this was really fun.
Oh.
Yeah.
I need to get going now.
Yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, you finished your day.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it was great. So I'll see you next time.
Yeah,
You're on.
and thank you for everything. Thanks for even printing out my questions
Oh, that's
because I've
fine.
been there.
And if you have any other questions, you can message me or anyone else about the show. I'll try to send it to you so you can listen to it before we post it. See if there's any edits that you want to make before it goes.
When
live.
does it go live?
I'm not sure. I just found out about
Friday?
the show today.
Is it
Friday?
supposed to be
Friday?
This Friday?
So I'll have it ready by
I think.
tomorrow.
I think that might not be right. Though.
Okay, I'll check regardless tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool.
Sweet. All right. So lovely to meet you. Lovely to see you. I'm heading off. Could you
Have a
turn
good night.
those off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.